What's up, webheads? It's your boy SpideyQueue. It's Friday. It's finally Friday. And it's sunny, and it's 5 degrees outside. It is so nice. There is no wind. It is the perfect temperature. And it's time for Next in Queue, so let's get to it. Today, Q is a bit of a sad panda. I hope everybody is enjoying their first day at KatsuCon. If you guys just got there today, if you got there yesterday, hope you're enjoying your second day. I hope you're enjoying it, but at the same time, I really wish I was there. I have yet to go to KatsuCon. I have yet to go to an out-of-province con. Well, I can't say it. Yeah, out-of-province con. I haven't gone to a con outside of Ontario yet, and man, we are itching to go so bad. But fear not, because I will most likely be doing BlizzCon this year. I'm really, fingers crossed. We'll try and hit a con while we're in Vegas. We will definitely be hitting New York Comic Con. And by definitely, I mean hopefully. We have a lot that we're trying to plan for right now, so keep your fingers crossed, guys. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys today about, is a little bit about just, if you're just getting into cosplay, if you're going to your first con, or if you plan on start making costumes and props, kind of where a good starting point would be. So why don't we go ahead and tackle that in a couple minutes, all right? Cosplay to me is all about fandom. When you go to a con and you see someone in their main cosplay, and the cosplay that they really love to wear, and just the one you see them always wear, it's most likely because that is their big fandom. And fandoms play a massive role because that is the character you essentially want to be. That is the character you want to try and portray the best you can. So I think one of the best places to start in cosplay is going to be what your fandom is, who your favorite character of that is, and just go after it head to toe. And don't try to be as exact as you possibly can. You want to try and get it close. If you're going for absolute accuracy, then by all means, make yourself as steady as possible. But at the same time, you just want to portray it the best you can. So you do whatever is in your capabilities. You try to expand them a bit, and you just do your best to build the best piece you can build. Never be afraid to ask questions either. Go on to sites like the RPF or cosplay.com. Everyone on those sites is always more than willing to give you advice on what you should be doing, or how to tackle certain things and how to do specific things. So having a ton of resources as well before you get into it is always good. Plan everything out. This way you know what you're getting into. This way if surprises do pop up, you kind of know how to work your way around them, and you know exactly what your end game is going to be. So that would be another good thing. So pick your favorite fandom and start researching the absolute hell out of it. And naturally, you can't start building anything without tools. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy a drill and a Dremel and a bench saw or anything like that. What I'm saying is you will need some basic tools of the trade. So let's tackle a few of those. You want to pick what your cosplay is going to be built out of, and one of the great basics to build out of is foam. See what sizes of foam you're going to need. If you're going to go really thick for certain parts, if you're going to go really thin for certain parts, there are all different types of foam out there. What kind of sizes, everything along that nature. You're going to want to go with foam first. Do some research, find out how much it's going to cost you, and then pick your sizes and go from there. If you want to try and do more detailed and hardened work, you could go with Warbler. There are different types of Warbler out there. There's the fast molding black Warbler, there's clear, there's the traditional brown Warbler that you can use. That's a little bit more advanced, but if you think you got what it takes to do it, and if you want to just jump right into it and learn the core stuff, again, size out what you're going to need, find out how much you're going to need out of it, price it out, go from there. And as for basic tools, what you'll probably need is an X-Acto knife, a heat gun, and a glue gun. That's pretty much your three basics right there. And a good long ruler, because when you're making those long straight cuts and you want them to be as straight as possible, get yourself a good ruler. A really, really good ruler. Seamstress's measuring tape is also really clutch in these kind of situations when you're trying to measure curves, or when you're trying to, measure a round or anything like that, or even total distances, and they take up very little space. And what a seamstress's measuring tape is, it's a long, flimsy tape that gives you all increments of inches, and on the flip side, it gives you centimeters. It's like having a measuring tape, but it's not rigid at all, and it's a little bit easier to maneuver around certain things to get exact measurements. So spend a couple bucks on one of those, and you should be good to go from there for your measuring. Get yourself a sharpener and get yourself a strong pair of scissors. A really, really good pair of scissors. These little dollar store craft scissors, you can essentially use those, but I recommend against them. They break, they snap, they dull way too often, and it's just a bit of a pain to keep those things sharp and to keep them true. So invest in a good pair of sewing scissors, or a really, really good pair of industrial scissors, and that'll be, it'll pay off in the long run. Same thing with your X-Acto knives as well. You're going to want to keep those really high quality. Get yourself a good Olfa, get yourself some really good blades. You don't want to buy cheap stuff because it will fail on you. The better quality of stuff you have, the better it's going to be. Set yourself a budget as well. This is where a lot of first-time cosplayers start running into problems and where they start to get a little bit disheartened. Give yourself a budget of what you can afford. You don't want to be constantly rebuying and rebuying and rebuying, and every time you go to check your account, you're noticing that you're just dipping into it every time. Give yourself a good budget, plan around the budget, and plan above and below the budget just in case you need to make either last-minute purchases or if you need to make one big gigantic purchase. You always want to make sure that the cosplay is well within your budget, all right? And if I could offer a couple pieces of advice, it would be just simple ones. Give yourself a good time frame to make and learn. You are going to be, especially if this is your first time doing something, you are going to be learning along the way. So whatever scrap materials you have and you want to try something out with, practice makes perfect, and give yourself plenty of time. Time is usually your friend, unless you're most cosplayers that I know where time is not your friend. It's 3 months to a con and you've got this beautiful overlay. It's like, I'm gonna hand embroider every single angelic symbol into my angel's coat because it'll really pop, it'll really look nice, and I'll use golden thread and blah, blah, blah. Skip ahead to 2 days before the con. I don't care, glue it, glue that shit. Oh, did you have crosses on that? Not anymore. Hot glue! You know who you are. You know. Take your time, be patient, and just let the work flow naturally. Plan everything out and try to hit your dates as best as you can. Alright? Always be safe when you're using your tools. Never cut towards you. Never cut towards your hand. Never hot glue gun your fingers to themselves. I think that's pretty obvious. Don't be afraid of your tools. Respect them and they will respect you back. I promise. That's it, guys. Just a short little wrap up of how if you're getting into cosplay for the first time, just a couple little tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you guys. I touched on these things before in another video, but just wanted to give you a refresher since KatsuCon is here, and I know a lot of you are starting to get into it for the first time, and the summer's going to be bringing around some big cons, and you kind of want to know small places to start, so why not here? I'll also be shooting a tutorial this weekend, so on Monday, make sure you guys keep eyes for that, alright? Let's go ahead and wrap this up, because it's lunchtime and I'm starving. Again, if you like what you saw today, why don't you go ahead and click that like button, and if you plan on sticking around, why don't you go ahead and subscribe too. And if you know a couple people who could use some sound advice on where to get started in cosplay, or you know a couple cosplayers who are just getting started and you want to share the video, please feel free, spread some love on the channel. But as always, guys, thanks for hanging. I'm SpideyQueue. Lots more coming from your boys, so as always, stay tuned, y'all.